We live one way, but we present our home for sale quite another. Prepping, maintaining our home show ready, if you will, waiting for that next unexpected call for a tour can be a pain in the butt. I know. But there's some good news though. There's an inverse relation between if you'll utilize the tips that I'm about to give you, the fewer the showings you're going to actually have because you're going to be in escrow and you're going to be in escrow with a buyer that's completely enamored with your house and they're going to show it by a price point you're going to be very, very pleased with. So let's go ahead and get started. The tips I'm going to offer here are going to take some time to go ahead and do. And I'll be honest, few of them, most of them are actually going to cost a little bit of money. However, here in our area, if you'll do these pre-listing activities, what you're going to have, the end result, if you will, is going to be a finished, clean, and attractive, a polished look. And it doesn't even matter what style home you have or even what year build you have. It's going to look the best it possibly can without doing any actual remodeling. So we're going to keep the cost down that way. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one is going to be declutter. The first thing you want to do is just take out, away from the property, off the property, anything that's just not going to make it to the next move. Why would you hold on to it? You certainly don't want it in your home at that point. You also want to, ensure that there's space in the rooms. The decluttering becomes an issue if a buyer can't move around or can't see flow or cannot see what their belongings may look like in that room. There's also the secondary concern that if you have too much stuff in a room, the buyer may actually incorrectly feel that the room is small and perhaps actually equating less value to a smaller property. So obviously you don't want that. So here we are: declutter, get rid of stuff. Mini storage in the garage if you have to, closets if you have to, but certainly we want as much flat surfaces as we possibly can. The next one would be to depersonalize all of the pictures of the family. They're fantastic and they're going to be wonderful in your next home. However, the buyers coming into your property, it's going to be difficult for them to imagine the buyer's belongings in your property when your personal property, your pictures, your photos, your memorabilia, your the way you live in that property is still somewhat lingering. So go ahead and remove the all personal aspects of it. Like I said, you may want to even remove, knickknacks, providing, more flat surfaces, because a buyer, it's easier for them to go ahead and visualize their belongings in your space if they have flat surfaces in which to work with. So now that we've physically removed all unnecessary stuff and we've kind of pared down the personal aspects of it, we want to go ahead and deep clean. So tip number three is deep clean. And in any market, all buyers want a cleaned home, and it should be a given. So ultimately, we want to make sure it's spotless before you do any of the later tips that I'm going to offer. And I mean deep clean. Well, hire a professional cleaner if you have to. I'm talking windows, both sides, the mini blinds, the flooring, the light fixtures. I'm not kidding. Everything. A clean home presents itself so very well, even if it's has imperfections. It carries a lot of weight. It's well worth the amount of money that it would take to bring in some professional cleaners. You'll get far more out of it if you do it. So looking at the whole interior, get that done as far as the exterior. If you're not comfortable with a power washer, do hire somebody and to use a power washer. What happens is just through time. This isn't just sellers, but this is everybody. Essentially, we kind of get used to what we see day after day, month after month, year after year. However, like dirt gets caught in the siding, on the exteriors of homes, and what I'm fearful of is if you don't do it and a buyer shows up and they're comparing it to the previous home that did do it, your house may not present itself as well as that previous house did. And it's really unfortunate because it's just dirt after all, and it's quite easy to go ahead and address. Pressure washing goes quite quickly and it's not that expensive. So, as a matter of point, I even had a one client not that long ago have their Spanish tile, the arch tile roof, pressure washed, and it brought back that just real robust, red, gorgeous roof. It looked like a new roof. I was quite impressed. So a little story there. But having done the work, having removed items, it's uncluttered, it's looking clean. At that point, you probably doing all that work kind of came across some items that need to be repaired. So our tip number 4 is obviously repairs. Now, definitely, you're going to want to go ahead and do obvious things like dripping faucets and stuff like that. You know, electrical outlets that aren't working. You want to go ahead and take care of those. Anything obvious, let's just go ahead and take care of right off the bat. Uh, the What we're looking at doing it is just ensuring that we have a safe environment moving forward. And I don't recommend, as far as repairs, that you do, any major remodeling or anything like that, because you're probably not going to get a return on investment for doing that. However, if the house is to a point where it really needs a lot of stuff and structure, there's concerns or some electrical issues that you're just not going to address, we'll have that conversation up front, because ultimately I can go ahead and market it to a different buyer, maybe a remodel or a fix and flipper. And it's just a different angle when it comes to finding the end buyer. We'll have that discussion, which might be probably a different video. In any case, go ahead and make the repairs that you can. So the overall condition, if it's good, or even if it's a little bit dated at that point, I may recommend that, like I said, if it's in good shape, that we might go ahead and do some painting. That we might go ahead and maybe replace some flooring if that's the only thing that it needs in order to really kind of get it up to maybe 90%, 95%. Might be worth that return on investment. But beyond that, once the obvious repairs are done and done essentially by us, it's going to sound odd, but here I go. I then want you to go ahead and bring in a professional home inspector. Yeah, yeah, I want you to actually bring in a home inspector to do a professional inspection of the property after you've done a first series of repairs. And the reason for this is because this particular home inspection report is going to get posted into the MLS in order to build value for our buyer. We do not want unnecessary, obvious repairs showing up on an inspection report. That's why we fix them first. So what we're looking at is a home inspection that is going to be kind of light, because we've essentially addressed some of the major, more obvious issues. That light home inspection, like I said, is going to allow for home buyers to go ahead and perhaps offer a bit more in a multi-offer, competitive type of a situation, because that home inspection report isn't revealing, because they're non-existent, any major health and safety issues, as they've already been addressed. So number 5 would be, having that professional home inspection done. Now let's go outside. We talked about the pressure washing, going outside, but really the feeling as a buyer as they walk up to your home, it carries a lot with it. The curb appeal, if you will, is kind of the filter of what everything that's going to happen after the fact is seen through. So we really do need to work with that curb appeal. Curb appeal then obviously would be my next concern. Tip number 6, as far as curb appeal, there's a lot you can do as far as curb appeal. We can look at more than just pressure washing. If it is the case where we need some painting on the fascia, maybe the front door, which is critical, that's what they see as they form an idea, an impression as they walk inside. Again, affordable improvements, worthwhile improvements, huge return on the investment of time and money spent for doing those. Landscaping, if it needs to be cleaned up and mowed and trimmed, that's a no-brainer. Go ahead and take care of that. You might even add some wood chips or some color, maybe some seasonal flowers to bring that pop back in. Again, they don't have to last forever and a day, but essentially during the listing marketing era, it would be very, very worthwhile to go ahead and add something that gives folks to actually look forward to, kind of get excited about. If there is maybe a patio, you can go ahead and stage some patio furniture, maybe a pergola if you have it. Very, very popular right now is to use those real inexpensive LED string lights outside there along the pergola, or perhaps some walkways if power is convenient. All of this makes for curb appeal as well as exteriors, kind of a remarkable, a memorable, listed property versus maybe another one that just doesn't have those features. Last was, or I should say, number 7 would be staging. Staging, it's kind of a broad term. It could be just simply you removing all of that unnecessary stuff and creating a more open, a more fluid, better flow with your existing items. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I want you to do that. But staging could also be the opposite extreme of just bringing in a paid service who may actually remove most of your stuff and then bring in their own items, just in an arrangement of design and color and style. That's fine, but it can be expensive. So do be prepared for that. A more affordable approach might be kind of a blend where they do remove a lot of your items, work with some of the items that you have, but maybe bring in some smaller items of their own, and that is the way that they can go ahead and bring in maybe some art or some color to actually help out the overall feel. Not a bad arrangement. Quite like I said, a bit more affordable to do that. So looking at that, we've got tip number 8. This is very, very important. You're ready to show your house. You've done all the prep work. You've got your lights on. Your window coverings are open. Natural light is coming in. You might even play some soft music. That's fine. Your toilet seats are definitely down. And as far as the smells or scents or deodorizers, not a good idea to have really strong odors, trying, because it sounds like you're trying to mask something. So I would go ahead and address the odor at the source before the showing, then try to go ahead and constantly have some sort of a deodorizer running 24/7. It suggests that there's an issue. So fix the issue and lighten up on the deodorizers. But you're ready. Your doors are open in the hallways. You're ready for that showing. Here is my last tip. Tip number 8 is leave for the showing. Yeah, you got to leave for the showings. Wow, wow, wow. I understand that leaving for showings is a pain. I get it. I get it. It's not convenient. And you might even think, who better to talk about my house than me? I get it. I get it. But there's a couple of things that are going to happen. One, the buyers are going to, if you do remain, uh, communicate with you. They're going to be looking at you. They're going to be responding to you. They're going to be respectful and talking with you. And you and you and you. Oh, they did actually tour the house with their agent. It was kind of, they felt all about you. They didn't imprint with your house. Now, obviously, that's not what you want, right? You didn't do all this work for them to just go ahead and really not associate the time there with the home that they were considering buying. You don't want that. There's one person, however, that would love for you to stay, which is my second concern, and that's going to be the buyer's agent. The buyer's agent would love to talk to you. In fact, more importantly, they would love for you to talk to them. They are trained to go ahead and get you to elicit the history, the problems, current and past problems. They are making a note of it because they will go ahead and bring up that information come negotiation time. So you inadvertently, just by staying at your own showing, thinking you were actually helping selling your property, you either didn't allow the buyer to imprint, but you certainly gave the buyer's agent negotiation powers to go ahead and beat you up on price. Don't stay for showings. 99 out of 100 times, it's a bad idea. So don't do it. Don't do it. You know, it's tempting. Just don't do it. To close, a lot of work goes into showings, and you do want to edge out your competition. And I do appreciate that some of these do cost money. But again, as I said earlier on, if you can do all these 8, you can actually, you know, have the resulting impact that you want for that buyer that's looking for exactly what you have. You hear that saying that how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you've taken care of all these aspects of your home, that buyer is going to not only be more comfortable, that showing up, the curb appeal is comforting and supported. The interior is inviting and welcoming. They're going to spend more time inside. They're going to see the attention to detail. Again, it doesn't even matter what style your house is or what year it was built. They're going to see the attention to detail that you did for this particular home, and they're going to get the sense that what you did one way, you did all the ways. So everything that they see is going to be absolutely supportive of them actually lowering their concern and actually heightening their desire to actually put together an offer on your house. In the end, you absolutely did it. Congratulations. Thanks so much.